A classified mission turns into a nightmare when elite naval officer Jack Slade, Jason Statham, is betrayed and his warship hijacked by mercenaries. Trapped at sea with a deadly secret on board, Slade must outfight, outsmart, and uncover a conspiracy that runs deeper than he ever imagined. With time running out and a nuclear warhead in play, the battle for survival becomes a fight for redemption. Will he reclaim the ship or go down with it? The sea was calm, stretching endlessly in all directions, but for Commander Jack Slade, the tension in the air was anything but peaceful. Standing on the deck of the HMS Valkyrie, a cutting-edge naval warship, he adjusted his tactical vest and stared into the distance through a pair of binoculars. The classified mission was simple: escort a high-value prisoner, Damian Rourke, a former intelligence operative accused of treason. Slade had followed orders his whole life, but something about this mission felt off. The prisoner barely spoke, and when he did, there was a certainty in his voice that unnerved Slade. "You're being played, Commander. You just don't know it yet." Hours into the voyage, a distress signal flickered across the ship's communication panel. A nearby cargo vessel, the Red Horizon, had gone silent. Standard protocol dictated they investigate. Slade ordered a small team to board, armed and ready. The moment they stepped onto the ship's rusted metal floor, he knew something was wrong. The lights flickered, abandoned crates littered the deck, and there was an eerie silence. Then a sound, barely a whisper of movement. Before Slade could react, the Valkyrie's alarms blared in the distance. Explosions rocked the ship. Slade turned to see masked men swarming the Valkyrie, their weapons cutting down his crew. Gunfire erupted. The mission was a setup. Slade fought his way back, taking out two mercenaries with precise headshots before sprinting towards the command center. By the time he reached the bridge, it was too late. The Valkyrie had been taken. Standing at the helm was Marcus Kane, a man Slade had fought alongside years ago, a soldier turned war profiteer. "You were always too good at following orders, Jack. Welcome to the real war." Slade was forced to the ground, his hands zip-tied behind his back. Around him, his crew lay subdued or dead. Rourke, still in chains, was dragged to Kane's side. "You see, Jack," Rourke said calmly, "I told you. They don't want me locked away. They want me gone. And now they want you gone, too." Kane leaned in, his voice like gravel. "The Valkyrie is carrying something far more valuable than you were told. A prototype nuclear warhead, hidden by the very government you serve. I intend to sell it. And since you're such a damn patriot, I assume that's going to be a problem." Slade didn't respond. He was already thinking 2 steps ahead. The first move? Escape. When the opportunity came, it was fast and brutal. Using the edge of his boot, he drove a hidden blade into the leg of the mercenary holding him. In the chaos, he broke free, grabbing a rifle off the ground and diving into the ship's maintenance tunnels. He knew the Valkyrie inside out. If he could rally the surviving crew, they had a chance. Hours passed in the dimly lit corridors. Slade reconnected with his remaining men, seasoned sailors turned guerrilla fighters in the belly of their own ship. They moved quietly, using old maintenance shafts to avoid Kane's men. Through stolen radio transmissions, they learned the mercenaries were working on reactivating the warhead's launch systems. If they succeeded, the Valkyrie itself would become a target. Any naval force that detected a rogue warship with nuclear capabilities wouldn't hesitate to sink it. They had little time. Slade made his move. Using diversionary explosions, he and his men launched coordinated attacks on the enemy, taking back sections of the ship one deck at a time. It was ruthless, close-quarters combat, knives in the dark, silenced shots, and broken bodies. With each step, they chipped away at Kane's forces. In the war room, Rourke, still under heavy guard, watched Kane pace. "You're losing men, Kane. Slade won't stop, you know it." Kane smirked, unbothered. "I admire the man, really, but he doesn't know the full story. He still thinks this is about money. He doesn't realize the same government he's fighting for is willing to kill every soul on this ship to cover its tracks." Meanwhile, Slade fought his way into the ship's weapons bay, where he found a shocking revelation. Kane had been lying. There wasn't just one warhead. There were 3. His blood ran cold. This wasn't just about selling weapons. It was about starting a war. The moment those weapons left the Valkyrie, the world would be plunged into chaos. The final battle came on the upper decks. The storm outside raged, waves crashing against the hull as Slade and Kane's forces collided in brutal combat. Slade fought through enemy lines, his uniform torn, blood seeping from a gash on his forehead. He reached the bridge where Kane was waiting. They fought like men with nothing to lose. Kane was stronger, but Slade was faster, more precise. Every punch was calculated, every counter ruthless. The fight moved outside onto the rain-soaked deck. Lightning split the sky as the two men exchanged blows, each strike echoing over the crashing waves. Kane pulled a knife. "You can't stop this, Jack. Even if you kill me, the system is already in motion." Slade knocked the blade away and slammed Kane against the metal beam. "Then I'll break the system." With a final brutal strike, Kane went down, blood spilling onto the deck. Slade didn't waste time. He stormed into the command center, disabling the warhead launch manually. The mercenaries, seeing their leader fallen, surrendered or fled. The ship was back under Slade's control. But there was one last move left. The Navy had already detected the Valkyrie's rogue status. A missile strike was imminent. Slade rushed to the communication panel, broadcasting his voice across military channels. "This is Commander Jack Slade of the HMS Valkyrie. Stand down. The threat has been neutralized. I repeat, the ship is secure." A long silence. Then a voice crackled through the radio. "Copy that, Commander. Stand by." The strike was called off. Slade exhaled, exhaustion finally catching up to him. The battle was over. But the war was just beginning. The corruption that led to this moment ran deep, deeper than he ever imagined. As dawn broke over the ocean, Slade stood on the deck, watching the sun rise over the bloodstained metal. He had followed orders his whole life. Now, for the first time, he was free to make his own.